Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Nicole. Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So this podcast has been a long time coming, many reschedules, a life event, so it's super exciting to finally have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Nicole, what is your kind of 1 minute intro? What do you do?
So my name's Nicole Holland. I work as a consultant at KPMG here in Brisbane with Karen. And yeah, I really enjoy hanging out with my family and friends, playing music, running, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa, so we're going to dig deeper into her life and we're going to go right from the beginning. So Nicole, what kind of kid were you like growing up?
I was really shy as a kid,
really?
actually. Yeah.
Surprise.
I was like that kid that like always I'm hiding behind my mum's skirt at a birthday party and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I was just like curious, artistic, liked to just like hang out with my family and yeah, be creative, I think. Like I remember my mum was telling me the other day that she like asked me, she's like, oh, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, I don't want to do what you do. You work too hard. I just want to be an artist.
Aww, that's
and
so cute.
yeah, so as a kid, I was just like loved being creative in that. And ironic because my mum's a chartered accountant and now I'm studying my CA, so I'm sort of following in her footsteps.
That's crazy. And then tell me more about your creativity growing up. So were you like really into drawing? What kind of stuff were you into?
Yeah, I really love drawing, but then I think I sort of leaned towards like the musical avenue when I, started school and stuff, because I feel like I really enjoyed music because it's also tangible. Like you can, like it's goal orientated, so you can sort of like sit your exams
hit the
and
grades.
yeah, that sort of thing. So I really liked that, and I played like piano from grade 1 right through to grade 12. So I really enjoyed that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Didn't know that about you. Yeah, and then so tell me more about sort of how you fit in the school environment. So you grew up in South Africa. What was that like? Was it intense schooling? Or?
Well, my school in South Africa was like an all-girls school that was very like proper and strict. So I think that's also maybe why I was a bit shy, because I was like really scared of the teachers there.
Yeah.
But it was really good. Like, I really was lucky to have that sort of rigid environment. But it was quite good. And then moving here to Australia, we moved to like a, what do you call it, co-ed school for the first time, and I was like, we had a seating plan, and I was like, I don't want to sit next to a boy, they smell. So no, I don't actually.
That is so funny.
That was like my biggest fear, moving to a co-ed school, and it was good
especially
though.
in primary school, boys can be a bit cheeky and naughty and dirty.
And like just coming from, even though I have like brothers, it was just growing up in that like the other environment in South Africa, it was like very strange to me.
Yeah, and if everything was like very prim and proper in your old school.
Yeah, but I think I really value the co-ed experience because you get to like, I don't know, mix with a lot more people, and it's a lot more representative of like society as a whole rather than just being like sort
Otherwise
of...
you're going to be really shocked when you start working. You'd be like, oh my gosh, man, this is so weird. Yeah, my friend, she definitely had like a similar experience.
Right.
When she went to like uni, she's like, oh man, like I don't know what to say. I don't know. Oh,
so she went to like
co-ed. I think, she did it in high school, and I think when she like went to uni, it was like a bit weird. So she was like, oh man, but I think she's fine now.
No, like I'm really glad to have had the mix. It's really interesting, but the best thing about going to a co-ed school was I was so excited that I could like see my brothers at lunchtime.
Aw, that's so cute.
So that was really good.
Yeah. And so did you have any, I guess, when you said like, oh, boys, I remember back in primary school, I was sitting on the floor and this guy, he was like killing dead ants and he put them on my knees. So did you have any did you have any experiences that came to fruition?
Not really. I didn't have, thankfully, I didn't have any like traumatic dead ant experiences.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was more so in my head than actually everyone was really nice.
Yeah. And tell me, what were your brothers like? Were they super clean? Are they more like extroverted? Because I'm surprised if you're the oldest child, I feel like you have to sort of be more extroverted.
I think my brothers are a little bit, maybe I feel like now I've sort of come out of my shell a bit more.
That's cute.
But yeah, I think they're very similar to me actually.
Ooh.
Yeah. But they're similar in personality but so different in their like individual interests. So
that's the best.
like all three of us were interested in totally different things, but like we all get along really well, which is really nice.
That's so cool. And I heard that you have twin brothers.
Yeah, they're twins. And when I was little, I used to feel really left out. Like, oh, Mum, they're like playing cars without me or something like that. But now like we get along really well. And
was there like a transition when you guys started to like become closer? Was it like later?
Yeah, I think so. I don't really think I could pinpoint a specific moment, but probably like high school or even when I moved out of home, and it just like the distance sort of like made me appreciate them a lot more. But I would say maybe high school we became really tight. And stopped like getting annoyed at each other and things. Yeah.
And would you consider yourself like a bit of a tomboy then, like sort of growing up with two brothers?
Like yes and no. I really enjoy sort of like fixing things and like doing projects on my car and stuff like that. But I would say I'm also like a bit of a princess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yin
like,
and yang.
Yeah, a bit of both. They're really like, I used to do a lot of actually sort of like, what do you call it, building woodwork and stuff like that with my grandpa. And so like from like a really young age, I was doing that with him and my Carl and Justin as well. And we would build like, I don't know, we built like chicken coops, like cubby houses and stuff like that.
That would have been so fun.
Which was really fun. So I feel like I love doing that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. And then tell me more about school. So how did you fit in the school environment? Were you the academic kid? I think you were. Were you sporty? Were you popular?
I was definitely like that kid that always just like stays. Stays behind in lunch break to ask the teacher questions. They were probably so excited for me to leave. Like, oh my gosh, I can have my lunch breaks back and
class.
Stop. But I really, like I mentioned, the music, which I got really into at school. I played clarinet as well. Ooh. So I was in a few like bands and stuff. I was like that really nerdy,
I love it,
like music kid. But that was really good. It took up a lot of my time though, like like rehearsals at lunchtime, after school, and stuff. So there was a fair bit of that, and I'm thankful that we lived like right across the road from school. So that was really good. So my mum and dad didn't have to pick us up. And Carl and Justin, my brothers, were really into like the music as well. So it made it nice that we were all in it together. And
just one drop off, one pick up.
Easy. But I would say I was definitely like the teacher's pet kind of. Studied really hard type of person. But it was. I really loved school.
And was it because you kind of loved learning? Was there something specific that you would stay back to learn more about, or was it like, hey miss, I don't understand, can you please explain to me? I wouldn't say
I was particularly wanting to learn more.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like get
a
good grades.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to meet what was, I don't know, make sure I really understood like my assignments or exams and stuff like that.
Wow, so good.
To just like keep asking questions. But even here, I just ask so many questions and people are probably like, oh.
No, it's good.
But yeah.
Were your parents strict on grades, so they kind of like got you to study hard?
No, they weren't. But I think they weren't because I was so.
Yeah, I'm surprised
I was really
you were.
focused on it myself. So maybe if I just didn't care, then they would have, nudged me a little bit. But they were just like, do whatever is, do your best, and like that's all that matters. But I'm sure if I just like kick back and relax, and like I don't really care about this, they would have nudged me along. But yeah, I'm thankful that I had that drive inside of me to try and do my best. But
and has that sort of been common throughout your schooling where you really do give it a good shot, or have you had a stage where you just slack off and you're like, I don't care about this anymore, I've gotten into uni or whatever?
Yeah, not like I feel like that was actually during uni, once I'd already gotten a job and stuff like that it was hard to keep going because I was like, why am I actually trying anymore? Like I just want to pass, which was never really a mentality that I'd had before. I was always like wanting to do, like not necessarily wanting to pass, but wanting to like actually do something that I'm proud of. So I feel like, that period of, I would say my last semester of uni was tough to actually motivate myself. But apart from that, like I like really enjoy like learning and stuff like that.
And I guess your favourite subjects back in primary school, music, did you enjoy like the general maths, English as well?
I really enjoyed maths.
Ooh, as a creative kid. Whoa.
Yeah, I enjoyed like the structure of it. But I think like my creative side was more of like a hobby.
Yeah.
So when sometimes you like to keep your hobbies separate.
Yeah.
So at school I really loved maths and what else? Like science.
Wow.
Yeah, but not English. I was really bad at it.
Dude, sounds like the perfect child.
It was really good. I loved school.
Yeah, and was sports much like a big part of your schooling or nah? Because you wouldn't have much time if you're...
Not really. Like I ran a lot. I have really bad hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
like
me
my
too.
eyesight is so shocking. So, and I also think like because I was really shy and I still sort of like have that a little bit in me, I don't really like team sports because I always feel
bad
like,
when you...
oh no, you should get the ball. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
really?
I feel like I'm too polite in team sports maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you need to like tackle someone and trip someone and get out of it.
I need to like sort of reset my mind frame in that sense. But that's why I sort of like gravitated away from team sports towards running or things where I was just like, it was just me that's accountable. Like I can't be responsible for the team's failure if I like miss a goal or stuff. Like I played some sports socially, but was more into running, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess if you play sports with your brothers, would you still have that politeness or nah, it's just with kind of new people?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've never actually really played sports. Like we like wrestle and stuff, but I've never really played like proper sports with them. So I'm not sure. But we run together, which is nice.
Aww, that's
Except
cute.
they're way faster than me.
Really? They are a bit taller than you?
Yeah.
Maybe that helps? Long legs? Yeah. And what about like sort of making friends at school? How was that? Especially when, you moved from South Africa to Australia to when you were like 10 years old? Yeah,
so I was mentioning to you before that like I really did not want to move to Australia because I had my friends and then like I didn't like the Australian accent. I just thought it sounded so bogan.
Yeah,
and I thought that Australians wear like hats with corks on the end. I was like, don't take me to that country. But I'm so glad to be here. And actually, funny enough, when I first moved, like no one could understand me with my accent.
Oh.
And so, like, I was so shy and I just wanted to fit in, so I'd, like, go home and, like, watch Australian movies and TV shows and, like, try and talk how they talk and try and, like, get rid of my South African accent, actually. But now I wish I kept it.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about? My friends. I had really good friends in South Africa, actually, who I'm still in touch with some of them now, which is really good. Like, thanks to, like, Facebook. And Instagram, really.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to see, like, where their lives have taken them as well. But I was really lucky to have, like, a great group of friends here as well, because I think that makes all the difference during school too.
It does.
Like, I don't know, we were all sort of, like, interested in the same things, like, wanting to, I don't know, study or, like, you know, encouraging each other in that. So it was really good. I think the power of, like, who you surround yourself with is so important, especially at that age. Like, I see now, like, my cousins going through high school and things, and how their friends influence them. So it makes me really grateful to have had, like, really solid group. Like, not, like, I feel like I'm more like a quality rather than quantity type of person. Like, just a small, tight-knit group was really good during school.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so all your friends are pretty much, like, into academics as well?
Yeah. Like, I think my friends all valued, like, not that we were necessarily interested in the exact same things academically, but just, like, the value of actually trying, or, like, the mentality of, like, wanting to do well, not just, like, oh, I don't care about school, you know?
Yeah,
so,
that's so good. Yeah, probably why your parents relax. They're like, yeah, you're just with friends, not doing anything crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and then tell me more about your, like, so when you were in primary school and you're sort of thinking about the future, you wanted to be, like, an artist, right?
Yeah.
What kind of artist? Let's paint that parallel universe.
Well, I actually don't know, because I haven't really, like, painted in a really long time. Like, that must have been my childhood hobby, because my mum has so many paintings that I did as a child. But then I suppose that, like, transpired to more the music route for that creativity.
Yeah.
But
did you want to be a pianist or a clarinetist? Don't know what it's called.
I never really wanted to, because, like, then when I got a bit older, I realised that I prefer to keep music as, like, a hobby. So I didn't really want to become, say, like, a clarinet teacher or anything like that. But I just really enjoyed it as a sort of way to escape or unplug, which was really nice.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, and then tell me more about, so you were in high school and then you're thinking about the future, going to university. What was kind of your options at that point?
All throughout high school, I actually really, really wanted to study medicine.
Oh, yeah, so I can see it.
It was like that was like after my dream of being an artist. That's the next dream that I could, like, remember basically since, I don't know, maybe grade 4 or so.
Oh, yeah.
And because I was, like, born really, really early and things like that, and, like, had heaps of help from doctors. So I was like, I just want to be a doctor and like give back to people, sort of thing. Cute. And so that was, like, my dream all throughout school. And then in grade 12, I just, like, had a total pivot of, like, I don't know, I freaked out about, like, people's lives being in your hands. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's too much responsibility. Like, I don't want to, like, as much good as you can do in that role, I just felt, like, too overwhelmed by that, the weight of actually that responsibility. So I was like, no, let me change. And actually at UQ, they just had, I think, 2 years by that point of the BAFE program, which was, it was sort of, like, marketed as, like, something that it's like a, you know, a tight-knit cohort and, like, a fast-paced program, and I was like, yeah, that sort of like appeals to me. So that was what I ended up with, which I'm really glad that I did.
Yeah, and if you weren't going to go to BAFE, what was your kind of second option, third option, if you had any?
I still had my second option down as like medicine, and I did the, what do you call it, UMAT? That's the one that you do in school.
UMAT, yeah.
I did that and all that, but I just didn't want to actually go through with it. So that would have been my second option. And sometimes today I'm like, oh, should I have done that?
It's a long degree for medicine.
Yeah, my brother's doing medicine at the moment, and like I think he'll be really good at it.
Oh.
But sometimes I'm like, oh, that sounds so interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I wonder like what if, but then I don't really regret not going down that path.
Yeah. Are you good under stress? Probably.
I feel like I haven't really had that many stressful situations. I don't know. I think maybe sometimes I like internally freak out.
Yeah, but no one sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you good with like blood, that kind of stuff?
No. I'm really bad. My brother got his wisdom teeth out, and then I went and to go pick him up, and I looked inside his mouth when we were at the dentist chair, and I passed out. So.
What, like during or after or?
No, like during, like.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that wasn't good. But I've heard that people get accustomed to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I was really interested. I wanted to see like
future dentist.
Yeah. So I think I'm definitely in the right place here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? It might be like a little hobby of yours. Maybe you could be KPMG's first aid officer.
Yeah. Who
Start
knows?
small.
Because I still do think there's like something really beautiful or rewarding about being able to help someone's health. Or maybe it's just because sometimes I'm like, how am I actually helping people?
Yeah.
And to me, you know, being in the health field seems like the most, or not the most, but like a very tangible way to show that you're directly actually helping someone. Yeah. But I also think there's other ways to do that. Like everyone's given different gifts or talents. So.
Yeah, definitely would feel good to be in the healthcare space. Yeah, and then tell me more about BAFE. So did it, what was your kind of experience? Was it like a very big step up from high school?
I think semester one of uni was probably tricky in an adjustment type thing, because they sort of like throw you straight in. Ooh. And it was really good because you have to find your feet really quickly, but that was maybe the biggest shock for me coming from school. And also I lived like on campus at UQ.
Oh, fun.
So it was really good, and a few people, I think there were maybe 4 or 5 of us at my college who were studying, like in my same BAFE cohort. So that was really valuable to have people that were going through the same thing. And something that I really valued about the whole BAFE experience was just having a set group of people that you can form friendships with and go through the whole thing with. Like a lot of other people that I've heard sort of aren't able, like they have such huge degrees. Yeah, and there's different people in each course, and it's hard. Yeah, it would be a lot harder. So yeah, I think that was my favourite part of it.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, and for BAFE, so there's 2 parts to it. There's the finance and the economics. Did you sort of gravitate to one in particular?
I really liked them both for different reasons. Like I actually didn't expect economics to be as like mathematical as it was. I don't know, going in I sort of just expected it to be like theories and concepts about the world, the economy. But yeah, I don't know, I mentioned that I really like maths, so I enjoyed that part of the economics, but I liked them both for different reasons, I think. I enjoyed finance because I felt like it's a little bit more, what do you call
Practical,
it?
hands-on?
Yeah, practical. Like if we're talking about bonds, I've seen bonds.
Yeah.
Like I can understand how they're issued in real life and stuff like that. So I felt like it was a lot less hypothetical.
Yeah.
Whereas economics is very
Yeah, I
like
agree.
hypothetical, I feel.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess you went down the professional pathway. Did you do an honours or not?
Yes, so it is an honours, like I think like as long as you complete your 4 years, it's an honours.
Yeah.
But you could do general or like professional pathway, a finance major or an econ major, and I did the general professional pathway. But as part of that, we did, because you don't have to do a traditional thesis.
You do like a short one.
Yeah, you do a little short one.
Yeah,
It's
safe for
really
bad.
good. So we did. I was in a group of 4, and we looked at using Twitter, or what's it called now, like X. But we built a little bot that I guess like scanned the sentiment of tweets on Twitter about like cryptocurrencies. So if like say Bitcoin was mentioned in a tweet and it had like a good word, then that was given like a certain rating from 0 to 10. And yeah, so we sort of like mapped out Twitter sentiment versus price to see if you could.
That's kind of cool.
If you could like use that as a leading indicator to invest in something or things like that. It was actually really fun. Yeah, it had a pretty strong correlation, but I'm too scared to put my money where my mouth is on that one. But yeah, it was a really fun sort of, as far as those sort of projects go, it was really good.
That's awesome. And it has a kind of like application to real life.
That's what I really enjoyed about it. Like, it didn't really seem like that hard work because it seemed like, the application seemed really cool and it was fun.
And did you code it from scratch?
No, we used some prepackaged
software.
Packaged, scripts and stuff, and just had to tweak some things.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome because I did business analytics and I did a project. It's kind of similar to yours, but very different. But yours sounds much cooler. Mine was like for Taco Bell, and I was reading customer reviews, and I read like 100, and then I had to like create like different boxes of which is this like about the food? Is this about the service?
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Uni assignments, but yours sounds much awesome because you got like a software. Mine was like completely manual.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That would have been tough.
It was. Well, and some of the comments, like, they're pretty boring to read through. Yeah, so glad you didn't have to go through that manual process. Would have been a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then tell me more about like, how was your uni experience? Were you like heavily involved in club societies? Were you, getting on the internships, doing case comps, that kind of thing?
I think actually, like living at college, I lived there for 3 years out of my 4-year degree. So that sort of like consumed a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But it was really good as well because there was always a lot going on, but it felt like I wasn't swamped by uni because I sort of like had it like forced a really good balance in my life. So that was really good, and it was probably only until after I left college that I thought, maybe I should get involved in some societies or things like that. So I think then in my 4th year I did like the case comps and was part of UQBA or something.
Yeah.
But I think most of my uni life I was not super heavily involved in like the UQ campus life, but I sort of like tried to make up for it later on. But yeah, I do wish I was like part of it all the way going through.
I think the lights are dimming. But yeah, I think that would kind of make sense because I think a lot of people, they do extracurriculars to sort of meet friends. But if you sort of have your like small little cohort, like the degree is like you have your friends there, and then if you're living on college, I don't know how you would have much time to get too crazily involved.
I do think that that's a really good point. Like it would be, if you didn't have that environment, like that would be a really great way to actually meet people. Because I think going to uni, even though there's so many people around, can be really isolating at the same time.
It can be. Would you say uni was like the best 4 years of your life? Was it much better compared to primary school, high school, or?
I actually don't know. Like, I think all the seasons have been so different, like, and valuable in different ways. It probably sounds really cliche, but like I can't really pick a favourite. They've just been so different. Like, you know, I valued being at school and being able to be around my family and things like that. And then uni was just like really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was probably it was really fun. Definitely a lot of like freedom and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so
I guess
it was
it'd be
good.
pretty hard to compare.
Hard to compare because they're very different.
Yeah. Cool, nice. I want to talk about some random experiences that you've had. So tell me first about Community.
So Community is like a little hobby turned business venture that my brothers sort of started. And because when they were about 14 or so, they got interested in beekeeping. So they got some beehives for their birthday, and then they expanded. And a couple years ago, they actually were selling their honey to you know, just little stores around our area. And
so
we got some jars made that were printed with their like logo and stuff, which was really cool.
Cute.
And then they entered this competition a couple years ago called Generation Innovation. You go through and like you create a business idea with like a mentor and things like that. And then they actually ended up winning that competition, which was really cool. And they got like some cash to sort of like kickstart their business. And the idea behind Community was sort of like selling their honey, selling honeycomb, beeswax, all these products, and then also selling beehives for people to have in their own homes, because it was sort of around sustainability and like how the environment, like bees are really, really actually important to the ecosystem, and without them, like, you know, it would be pretty dismal. I'm pretty sure like the world would end basically.
Wow.
But yeah, so it was also about that awareness piece and you know, trying to promote people to, you know, keep a beehive in their backyard or things like that. So yeah, that's still going, and yeah, it was really cool. I made them a website and things, but the websites, we've since stopped that subscription because it was just like a few $100 each year, which is not that much, but they weren't really selling that much through the website anyway. More so through like local. I think people like to buy local. It's like having it in the fruit shops and IGAs and stuff around Budrum where we live, like, was really good. So they're still doing that.
That's awesome. So how many hives do you have at home?
About well, actually we moved house. We were on acreage where we had about 20, 25. And then now we've moved, we can't have any on our property anymore because it's just like a really small block. But we've got them still at a friend's house. So it's still like around the same amount of hives. Yeah.
And is it like very time consuming to sort of maintain like the bees? I don't know what is sort of involved in the day.
It's mainly, thankfully it's mainly my brothers who maintain that. But it's more so like just checking on it periodically, and then around the time when they'll harvest, then it's a pretty significant commitment. But it's more just like, it's not like a constant effort. It's more like, oh, it's time to harvest.
Yeah.
Oh, we're silhouetted.
I don't mind continuing.
We can just keep going.
Yeah.
It'll probably just adjust the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's more like
So when's harvest
around
season, by the way?
There's not really a season. So it just depends on the rainfall and that sort of stuff, how much honey they create. And then if there's enough honey, then they will harvest. And then it's like a good few days to like bottle them and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's so
and then
awesome.
they're fresh. And then they wait till the next harvest.
Yeah.
It's usually like a few months in between.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
And does your family love honey? Fresh from the
I
farm?
actually don't love honey
What?
myself. It's just too sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of my family love it, have it for breakfast on their toasts and things, so it's good.
Perfect. Yeah. And then tell me more about your journey into KPMG. How did that sort of begin? And
So I joined KPMG first as part of the VACI program, or the Vacationer program, which is their internship. Oh, there we go.
yeah.
In the end of 2020, which that was really good. It was like an 8-week program to it was good to be able to like meet people, and they sort of take you through a lot of the training. I think taking part in any sort of like internship is always really valuable. So that was really good. And then afterwards, I stayed on in my team, which is now called Finance Advisory, for just on a casual basis, like 1 day a week.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky to have that opportunity. And I think even though 1 day a week, like you're not really adding that much value, but it was really valuable to me because like by the time I then started as a grad, I just had so much knowledge through just like absorbing things that were going on.
Yeah.
So that was really good. Yeah, I was really lucky for that opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And so what kind of like, now you're still in the same team as you vacationed in, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what would you, I know like everyone gives the very cliche thing where every day is different for a consultant, but
Yeah.
how would you sort of break down your day, like from the time you get into the office and then?
Well, usually, I do like going to the gym in the morning, so I'll run to the gym, do my short gym, run back home, have a shower, get changed, come into the office at like 8:30. I'm not an early bird, like some people get in so early.
They do.
But I really like trying to do something in my morning, otherwise it feels like a
you've done
waste.
Something.
Yeah,
Tick,
so I'm like,
success.
tick that off. Unless I have to come in early for a specific reason, then I'll skip that. But I feel like that really like makes me feel energized for the day. Then I'll like check my emails.
Classic.
You know, the classic. And I think, like, I know it is a cliche, but every day really, it's hard to pinpoint what a day in the life sort of feels like. But often there's like, you know, a fair few meetings, or it might be a day of like writing reports. If there's specific deliverables that are due, sometimes it's just like, okay, we've had all our meetings, we need to just like focus, almost like a group assignment, I would say. I think maybe consulting is kind of like just perpetually working on group assignments with people, which is good.
And would you say that you have like a lot of Excel work, calculations, or is it mostly done in Word, PowerPoint?
Our team, there's people that do a lot of Excel, but I haven't personally worked with it a whole bunch, which is not what I expected coming in. Like, I just sort of assumed that finance advisory would be a lot of numbers and Excel and things like that, but I've spent the most of my time in PowerPoint, which...
Pretty slides.
I actually really love. Like, there's something really therapeutic about making a presentation
everything
look good.
Lining up.
Yeah. And then people just think that it's more credible if you have a bit of a halo effect. So I've spent a lot more time in PowerPoint than I expected, but I really
quickly
like
brush
it.
up those PowerPoint skills if you want to get into finance
that would
advising.
be a great skill.
Yeah, I think for consulting in general, a lot of it is PowerPoint.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, one thing I forgot to touch on. Yeah, tell me more about your role as administrative assistant at your parents' business. How's that going?
So, up until recently I was working for my parents. They had a business selling sort of like portable advertising that has like
Ooh.
printed, banners, marquees, signs of any sort. So that was really good. I was really lucky to be able to work for them and have a very sort of casual job that was really flexible to any of my commitments. I've been working for them just up until recently when they sold their business, and that was really good to see how a business operates, first of all. And also, on the other hand, like, I really liked the opportunity to just switch off from work or study and, just focus on something completely different and unplug. And like have some time out, which was really good.
Yeah. And watching your parents grow a business, did that ever like become a thing that you wanted to do as well?
Not really at the time, but I think the older I get, the more I appreciate the flexibility that offered them. Like, I just took for granted, in school, how they could take as much time off as they wanted. Like, they always had to have their laptops on and like be there to
in case
sort of keep the business running, but like they could be with us like most of the time and pick us up from school and things like that. So I think, like, if I have a family one day, that's something that I would probably really consider, to try and have that flexibility and like try and be there for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Another question I want to ask you, sort of like a general question. How do you sort of manage time? Because like right now, you're doing a CA, you're doing a blockchain course at TAFE, and like you always, back in uni, you were doing like a bunch of different things. So you always have like a few tabs open for everything. How do you sort of manage your time and
I feel like I'm pretty sure there's some sort of like, what's it called, like a theory that says like if you set like X amount of tasks for yourself in the day, like your time management will just like allocate to fit that in. So like, that's kind of just like my theory of life. Like, I feel like if just taking on things, you're sort of forced to actually just complete adapt however it works. But I have to say, like, whilst like at school and uni, I was really focused on like getting the best grade that I could. Nowadays, it's more like I really just want to pass like my CA, pass my blockchain. Like, because I just can't actually devote that much time to each thing individually. Like, that's the compromise that comes with trying to do lots of things at once. But I think I'm also like a little bit of a crammer, so I probably don't have the best time management skills on a consistency basis. But like, I just know that if I have an assignment due or something, I'm just blocking out that period of time. And that's mainly how I sort of tackle my studies and stuff. And I'm really thankful that we do get study leave here, and work is really supportive, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you felt that, like, have there been multiple times in your life where you've sort of bitten off more than you can chew, that kind of thing? Like, just sign up and then, like, when the day comes where you just submit everything, you're like, oh dear. Not really, but sometimes I do just get a bit overwhelmed, and then I like call my mum and like have a bit of a cry, and she's like, pull yourself together. And I'm like, okay, if you insist. But I really feel like my family is something that really like grounds me. Like, they live on the Sunshine Coast, and I really love going up there to visit them and just
say like leaving my laptop and everything behind and taking that time to reset. And it's like, it's more so rather than biting off more than I can chew. I feel like my own concern is more just like keeping going and forgetting to rest.
Yeah.
Like I'm more of like I don't think it's really all or nothing, but I'd rather be busy and try and do a lot.
And be super busy.
Yeah, if I'm busy, I want to like be as productive as possible. But then if I'm taking a rest, I want to fully unplug.
Yeah.
So I think that's the important thing, and I've really, I try to go there as much as I can to see my family and just reset.
Yeah, that's so good. I guess like on the way while you're traveling to Sunshine Coast, that's already the reset.
Yeah,
like, they're physically in two different places, hence like two different mindsets.
Yeah, like put on a podcast and that sort of thing, and then
Yeah, that's awesome. So we're nearly at the end of the podcast. Just a few more quick questions. So the deep question, Nicole, what do you think the meaning of life is in your opinion?
That's a big one. I think just like being, making everyone around you feel like, I think the meaning of life is just like work and stuff is really like pointless in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Like if you can sort of like make people around you feel good, and it's more like, I think it's just more so about relationships than achievements. Yeah. Which sometimes when you're like, oh no, I've done a really bad job at this, like, I don't know, I feel like I have really high personal standards for myself that I don't like to not meet. Yeah. And so sometimes I just have to like remind myself that like that's not in the grand scheme of things, it's not really important. Yeah,
that's true. And if you won the lottery tomorrow and finances were not a concern, what would you do differently about your life?
I think on a very practical level, I think I'd probably just like actually try and like invest that money to provide just a passive income that I can live off, right? It sounds really boring. I'm not like, oh, I would buy an island for myself.
Yeah, but first make sure that you can sustain this money.
Yeah, because you hear of so many lottery winners that just like go broke and spiral into like, it's actually just that winning the lottery is just like the downfall. Yeah, so I feel like I would just try and set myself up for the future, but I don't really think I would like quit my job or anything drastic like that, because I really like the idea of working not because you have to. Like that sounds so like romanticized and cliche, but like you're not working to earn a living, but you're working because you actually enjoy what you do. So I think to choose to work would really like
that's so
emphasize that.
Yeah, it means that your love for work is pure because you don't have to do it for anything.
Which, like, would it be realistic to actually want to work every day? I don't know.
Yeah, you'd probably like go to like a twice a week basis.
Maybe go to like scale back to 4 days a week or something.
Yeah. I think a lot like scale back even more. Maybe like once a week, check in with the colleagues. Hey mate, how's it going? Yeah. Maybe switch job. Maybe be the plant lady.
Yeah, like just I think I like the idea of just like being able to do anything and not being able to.
That's awesome. And the final question is, what is an ideal perfect day in the life for you? It can be work related, it can be non-work related.
I feel like a day in the life would probably be more work related because I'm at work most days. But I would really love to. My like dream is to live on the Sunshine Coast because that's where I grew up and I really love it there. But like, I would love to just actually during COVID when everyone was working from home, I lived there for a bit with my family. It was so good because we went to the beach in the morning, come home, log on, go for a walk in the afternoon. Like, so I think part of my ideal day is just like getting out, whether it's to the beach or to the gym or something like that, getting out in the morning and like getting out in the night, not just sort of like stay home all day.
Yeah, have a bit of like nature, work.
Yeah, like just balance.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well, we're at the end of the podcast. It was so lovely hearing your story.
Thanks for having me.
Learned a lot about you, so I hope it was a fun experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye.